Hey, this is Dani, you and me living free, and it feels weird a little bit to be recording in my house instead of in my van, but I'm gonna try to make this work. I might have to go out to the van to record this. I don't know. It feels kind of strange. But anyway, I'm breaking down today my training for the Grand Canyon Rim to Rim hike. And this is almost 2 years out. I'm planning tentatively for October 2024. So in a little less than 2 years, I plan to hike the Grand Canyon. I plan to do it in, I think, 4 days. And I have in my mind and on paper, I have broken out like what are the elements to that hike? What am I going to have to be able to do on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and then all together, how good a shape am I going to have to be in to be able to do all of it? And so it definitely contains elements of getting in that cardiovascular shape, working on hiking, because, you know, going on a treadmill and a track and a street are much different than a rocky terrain. So there's going to have to be some hiking in there. There's a lot of incline and decline. You think that the first couple days is all downhill, but it's actually not. If you look at the hike itself, you're coming down and then up and then down and then up and then down. And there are 2 or 3 significant like inclines, even in that first part where you're primarily going down. Not that I am discounting the importance of the going down. I know people who are in really good shape that have told me, I know a person who did a marathon to the top of Pikes Peak and back down again. And he said that the way down was much harder for him. But so I'm not discounting the downhills, but for right now, like an uphill is much, much more difficult. So there'll have to be that. I'll have to do backpacking and get used to wearing a pack on my back, which is something I have never done. I'll have to have flexibility, endurance, flexibility for no injuries, for being flexible, having good balance, so that I can again avoid injury in the training and in the hike itself. So there are a bunch of different elements. Of course, the inclines, the declines, and that steep leg work and that cardio work and all of that. So there's a ton that goes into it. And if I look at the whole big picture, I can become very discouraged. And there is a part of me that's like, I'm not sure if I can do it. But on the other hand, I'm very, very, very optimistic by nature. And so I'm like, okay, I'm just going to take baby steps. This is the path I want to be on. And eventually I will get there. Maybe it'll be fall of 2024. Maybe it'll even be after that, whatever. Maybe it'll be before that. But I will get there is kind of the attitude that I'm adopting. And one of the things that is important as well is there may be something that happens that makes it impossible for me to be able to do this hike. That's just reality. None of us know what tomorrow holds, right? But the main thing is I know what path I want to be on. And the path I want to be on is to be training and be ready for the Grand Canyon Rim to Rim hike. It's my dream. It's what I want to do. So even if I never made it there, this is the path I want to take. Like all my training wouldn't be for nothing if it turns out I couldn't do it or whatever. So I have that kind of in my mind. And what I'm finding is, you know, the training of the body will come and everything, but so much in the getting started and in the very early stages is mental. And so no matter what we're doing in life, we know we're always inside our own head. How we are perceiving things and how we are kind of talking to ourselves about things and navigating them is very important. And as a former life coach, I studied a lot of different ways to kind of train the brain, CBT, cognitive behavior therapy, just a lot of different tools that I have on how you look at something, and if it's triggering, then what you can do about that to soften it for the next level and the next level and the next level. And then before you know it, you're in a better frame of mind. And the situation can be the same, but how you look at it often determines success, failure, I use those terms loosely. I really feel like there's no such thing as failure if you're learning. And so failure is part of life and a necessity. And having a good attitude about having a bad day or having failure or whatever, or falling short, is really important. So I have all these kind of areas mapped out, but I can't let myself put all of it in right now. Like, I'm not going to go buy a backpack and start training that way right now. I have 2 years and I need to work on, I need to have kind of a focus to get started, and I need to kind of do it in segments so that I feel like I'm building and I don't get overwhelmed. Also, I need to keep it at a level where it's like I can achieve. I can't set my mark too high and fall short and feel bad, and just like I've got the baby step mentality, and that's how I'm carrying through everything. Now, even in this first stage, I thought my first stage was going to be something I like to call Couch to 5K, and that is even an app, and it's a whole movement that happened a while back, right? C to 5K. So going on the couch to being able to run a 5K, and it's like a training program. A lot of people have got it. Like I said, it's even an app. It's several apps, actually. So I thought that was going to be my phase one. But when I got in, I realized I was already getting overwhelmed. I was already getting overwhelmed with, oh, I need to do 30 minutes, and oh, I need to walk fast and then slow, or throw in a little jogging from the beginning. No. Where I'm at, all of that is counterproductive. And what started to happen was I started to get overwhelmed, and I started to feel like this is never going to work. I've got too far to go. But instead of pushing further, because I have so far to go, what I really needed was to pull back. And I was like, what is the most important thing here? The most important thing is training myself to get up and to go to the gym. And I'll start walking. And I was still like in the whole 30-minute thing for a while. And I was like, forget it. If I don't feel like doing 30 minutes, I'm not going to torture myself and make myself do it, because then I'm going to want to go to the gym even less the next day, and it's going to deteriorate this main goal. If I can get myself in the habit of waking up and going to the gym, and that's my routine, then that's my first and most important building block. And it literally took me like months even to get to that point, because I was like halfway doing it, halfway committed, kind of not committed. And the weather was decent outside, and so I was doing it most days. And then the weather started to get bad, and it was before I had my job, so I didn't want to get a gym membership, blah, 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 right? Like, life just happens. We're all going to have our own story and our own obstacles. But I think what's important was when I started to get overwhelmed, instead of like pushing through, making myself wrong, beating myself up for not being in better shape, whatever else I could have done, I decided instead to pull back and really focus on what's important. The most important thing is that I build a habit of, okay, I was editing this video and I realized, I'm like, this is the most important thing. And then I go on and I'm like, it's the cornerstone, it's the blah, blah, blah. And I didn't actually say what it was right here, which is, I was building up all this emphasis and then I kind of glossed it over. The most important thing is building the habit of waking up and going to the gym every day. Waking up and doing training immediately. No excuses, no hitting the snooze alarm and forget about it, no rationalizing in the moment and not doing it, but just getting in the habit of getting up and training, period. That's my foundation. That's my brick in the corner. That's my cornerstone right there. Everything else is built on that. And I've got to make sure that ground is level. I've got to make sure my brick is solid. Then I'm going to start adding. What I can also tell you is that I'm not going to add the specifics in for phase 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 until I am approaching those steps, because I feel like it's starting to already happen naturally. So I started with the walking. I'm not forcing myself to do a certain amount of time or anything. If it feels good, I'll do 30 minutes. If it doesn't, I might do 15, 20 minutes. So I'm just there. I'm building the habit of going to the gym. Perfect. After that, my phase that I'm starting to slowly already move into is going to be couch to 5K. So like I'm training for a 5K, only I may do a fast walk instead of a jog. I may do, when you're going from walking to jogging, one of the things that they have you do in the app and just general in training is the intervals. So like you'll walk for 2 minutes, jog for 1 minute, walk for 2 minutes, jog for 1 minute. And then the next week you're like, oh, do a minute of walking and 2 minutes of jogging or whatever. And they kind of incrementally change. But through your like 20 or 30 minute walk, they're doing these increments of running and walking. And I'm already in my mind, like I'm definitely starting more with like a faster walking and a slower walking. And just kind of building that. So my next phase that I'm getting ready to start is this couch to 5K. It is December now, so I will be, for the spring, I'm going to be scheduling myself for at least one 5K race here, probably around Kansas City, although maybe I could make a trip of it. I don't know. I'll have to look at that a little more closely when the time comes. But I'll be scheduling myself a couple of 5Ks. Now, my goal, I already know with the 5K and everything, is literally to do it in 45 minutes. If I can do 3 miles in 45 minutes, that means about a 15-minute mile. I know from when I did a couple of half marathons before that a 15-minute mile, I can be mostly walking and do a 15-minute mile. I can speed walk with a little bit of jogging and do a 15-minute mile. So that already in my mind seems kind of doable, seems logical. And that's another like building block. It'll help me build my cardio. It'll help me build my leg muscles a little bit. And it'll give me more of a kind of a specific training plan that I can really kind of get in there. The couch to 5K, it might say, do it in 4 weeks or whatever. I might extend that to 3 months and just do week 1 or shorten the increments. It might have me bumped up to 2 minutes of running and 1 minute of walking. And I'm going to be like, no, I'll do like a minute and a half of fast walking and then a minute and a half of slow walking, so I may adjust it so that I can go slower so that I can take a full 3 months. But that is the plan right now, is to eventually over the next probably 2-3 weeks, transition for first of the year, being on track to kind of start that 5K part of it. I'm still not going to worry about inclines and declines. I will do more because I'm not going to be exclusively on the track. I'm going to do treadmill and hopefully a little bit outside or whatever. Well, now that I say that, I'm looking at January, February, March, so I won't be doing any outside. But on the treadmill, I'll start to incorporate those ups and downs, the inclines and everything. And then in the spring, I'll be ready for a 5K. That'll be that next kind of marker. And so my goals look like things like I want to be able to do a 15-minute mile. And beyond a 15-minute mile, I want to be able to do 3 15-minute miles all in a row for a 5K, fast walking, maybe a little bit of jogging, maybe not. So that is like the first big round of goals. And with that, I want to be able to walk up a couple of flights of stairs without being winded. I want to be able to like jog out to my car when it's cold or raining or something and sit down and not be winded. I want to be able to walk around the track and have a conversation with my friend and not be winded. So a lot of my things are like lungs, I feel like, and cardiovascular, but muscular also. So at some point I will add in strength training. I will add in flexibility and stretching, and I'll start to just kind of add these things slowly as we go. Anyway, I hope this helps somebody. I hope that maybe you want to come along for the journey. I try to save some good stuff for the end, so if you've stuck around. So I changed my handle on Fitbit to You and Me Living Free. And if you want to do some of the training or like have some challenges together as a group as far as steps or walking or something like that, then I thought we could create a group on Facebook. Not on Facebook. I'm not creating a Facebook group. On Fitbit. I'm creating a group on Fitbit called Grand Canyon Rim to Rim. And I figure we'll together kind of put together little challenges. Maybe we'll have like a week where we're tracking steps and congratulating each other when we improve on our steps and things like that. I'm not sure how it will develop or what it will look like, but I'm opening that up. You and Me Living Free on Facebook, on Fitbit. I keep saying Facebook, on Fitbit. I think I am going to start a Facebook fan page called You and Me Living Free though too, but I haven't yet. So anyway, I think I'm going to do that. So we're going to start it on Fitbit. For anybody who doesn't have a Fitbit and doesn't want a Fitbit, I don't want to encourage anybody to go buy a Fitbit or anything. I'm just saying if you already have one, then this is something we could do. I'm using Fitbit because that's just what I have. But I'm not endorsed by them. I don't have a deal or anything. I'm not getting sponsored. I'm just saying that maybe we can create a group if you're interested, if that sounds like fun to you at all, because I'm just looking at more ways to kind of try to share the experience and for other people for you to kind of join in whatever kind of way you want. So if you have any ideas about that, let me know. And we'll see what we can do. And I'm just excited to be on the journey. And there's good days and bad, but there's more good than bad. And I always know when I wake up in the morning that, you know, in every moment there's a potential for change. In every moment we could choose to do something small that is really good for us in the long term, that will have a cumulative effect. If we just keep it up, and that baby steps are absolutely the way to go. It's the only way I'm going to travel from here on out. No more big, grandiose moves and crap like that, because it's not sustainable. Not for me. Maybe it is for you, but it's not for me. So I'm just happy to be here with you. If you made it to the end, let me know in the comments. Mwah! Sending you a ton of love. Special thanks to all my patrons. Of course, love you, love you. And we'll see you next time. All right. Of this is what I want to do. This is the most important first step. Like this is the brick in the foundation that's the most important here. So I'm getting confused. I'm getting confused looking at my camera instead of my picture instead of my camera. Anyway, I'm being silly.